Howdy, so today I'll be talking about how much water we really have. So on this page we have a timeline and it goes from billions of years ago all the way to today. So billions of years ago we had about 326 million trillion gallons of water, and then it goes all the way to today, which we still have the same 326 million trillion gallons of water. Just to make this clear, this does not mean do not conserve water, and I'll tell you why. So out of the water that we have on Earth, about 97% of it is located in oceans, which is not drinkable because it's so salty. And then we have about 3% of it, which is our fresh water. And less than 1% of that fresh water is actually accessible to humans. About 2% of our fresh water is located in our glaciers, which is not accessible to us. So out of the accessible water, fresh water that we have, a lot of it is not pure, so it would have to go through purifying systems to be able to be drinkable for human life. So in this next slide we have a picture of a aquifer that is located on the northeast United States coastline, and a lot of this aquifer is under the ocean. And since the aquifer is under the ocean, it does make it harder to get to. So whenever we're drilling for the fresh water that's under the ocean, it makes it a higher likely chance that we contaminate that fresh water, and then all the ocean water will flow into it and they'll mix, and we won't have any more fresh water in that giant aquifer. So this debate is also going on over in Asia area with the aquifers that are over there. So the pink smiley face is one that is closer to India, and that is one that there's not really much debate about which country gets the water from underneath there, because it is very close to India. But then the green smiley face, it is kind of debatable of who gets that water, because that water is not close to any specific country. And then also it comes into account, what about the countries that are landlocked and they don't have access to the ocean? Where do they get their water? So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about different aquifers and how aquifers work. So if you have a well, that means kind of you're out in the country and stuff, you pull directly from a well, and you don't have like your own magical water supply, you are connected to other people's water. So that means if you do put stuff down into your well and it gets into the water system, your neighbors are also going to have that same water issue because you contaminated both of y'all's water. And that means that you can have people from 300 miles away that have the same water as you. There are also artesian wells and just regular wells. So the regular wells is whenever you put the pipe down and then pull directly from the aquifer. But then the artesian well, it has pressure buildup, and then so therefore it sprays up out of the ground. Those are more rare than just a regular well. Water laws in Texas. So surface water is owned by the government primarily, and then groundwater is owned privately. So Texas has a prior appropriation system, which means first in line is first in right. For example, if there's two agricultural farms along the same river, and then the one further upstream is only been there for 100 years, but then the one further downstream has been there for 150 years, the one that's further upstream will have less rights than the one downstream. So if the river is running low that year, the person downstream can file a complaint and they can get water rights over the one that's upstream. And this is called the difference between juniors and seniors. Here's a map of major aquifers in the United States. You can see that there's a blue aquifer in the middle, and that one is called the Ogallala Aquifer. And that one covers 8 states, and it is the biggest aquifer in the United States. It's personally one of my favorites. Thank you for listening, and just one more fun fact, caves are made from aquifers.